Cody Miller is an Olympic gold medalist, world record holder, and swimming YouTuber who's making waves in the sport of swimming, both in and out of the pool. In the pool, he trains at Indiana University under legendary swim coach Ray Luz and alongside fellow breaststroke star Lily King. However, it's his impact outside of the pool that many swim fans have gotten to know Cody through, as he shares his swimming insights on his YouTube channel with his nearly 200,000 subscribers. In this episode of the Athletes Only podcast, I talk with Cody Miller about everything from his recruiting journey to Indiana University to swimming on Michael Phelps' last relay ever and what was said behind the blocks and so much more. And if you're a big swimming nerd like I am, you're going to want to stick around until the end of the video because Cody reveals his 3 best tips for all breaststrokers looking to take their swimming to the next level. As always, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any other Athletes Only podcast episodes. And without further ado, let's dive into my conversation with Cody Miller. This is the Athletes Only podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Cody Miller, joining us, Olympic swimmer and Olympic champion. Super excited to have you on the show, Cody. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great.
I'm excited to dive into it. You have a very illustrious career in the sport of swimming. Having the opportunity to swim with everyone from swim under the great Ray Luz all the way up to swimming with Michael Phelps. And you also won a couple Olympics medals of your own as well. So, hey, how did you get into the sport of swimming?
Yeah, so my mom hates that I tell the story, but my mom doesn't know how to swim, like to this day.
Man, really?
Yeah. She put me in lessons when I was young because she was scared of the water. And my dad grew up around lakes, like working on Lake of the Woods up in Canada. And so he was just big time into being around the water. So swimming fast, being around the water. And so she put me in swim lessons and I just kind of took to it. But that's kind of how it started.
While many Olympic swimmers are destined for glory from a young age, Cody's path to that wasn't always clear, but he was determined to make it. After swimming club with the Nevada Sandpipers throughout high school, when it came time for Cody to make a decision on where he was going to take his swimming and academic talents at the next level, he came to a crossroads. On one hand, his passion for filmmaking was pulling him in one direction, but on the other hand, his breaststroke talents were taking him in a different direction. Here's what Cody Miller had to say about his college recruiting process and his advice to all young swimmers looking to take their talents to the next level. I love to talk about college recruiting on my channel. I guess I'm curious, what led you to go swim at Indiana, training under Ray Luz, and what was that college recruiting process for you?
Yeah, so if you had asked me early on in my college recruiting process where I was going to end up, it would not have been in the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Vegas, I loved the weather. I loved the warmth. I was scared of snow. I didn't have any of that really growing up. And so I was really looking at schools like USC, Texas. At that time, obviously UT's still a powerhouse, but at that time, Brent Hansen was there, Pearsall was there, Shanto was there. So to be a breaststroker, I was like, that was kind of the place. So that was kind of like my top school. Sure. So I visited Texas and loved it. I was hosted by the great Ricky Behrens, who at the time I think was the record holder in the tuna freestyle. It's crazy to think back then it was like a 131. He had the record, and now it's like all these guys go. Anyway, don't want to get too into it. But I remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm in like American record holder Ricky Behrens' house right now. This is crazy. So that was cool. And then like USC, the thing with growing up in Las Vegas is most of the swimming is Southern California based. They're in the Southern California LSC. So I grew up swimming in Irvine, a lot around the Long Beach area, the Belmont Plaza pool right there on the ocean. And so, swimming at USC in Southern California was like a big thing. And then also like I'm a lifelong film nerd, hence all like the movie crowd. So I wanted to go to the George Lucas Film School. So that was a big draw. And then also lower on my list was Indiana. And that was solely there because Ray swam with the Sandpiper head coach, Ron Aiken, back when they were in college. Not together. They competed against each other.
Sure.
So they knew each other from back in the day. And at the time, the Indiana men's team, they weren't really very good. They weren't even really top 20 in the country. Like I was fortunate enough to be one of the higher level recruits. Yeah. And so I was looking at programs that were top 10. And that was kind of my hope and dream. And Indiana wasn't really that. But at the time, Ray had a guy named Kevin Swander who had just broke the American record in the 50 long course meter breaststroke. And I believe he got 3rd or 4th at Olympic trials. And so Ron was like, hey, like Ray's got a lot of success with breaststrokers, take a shot at this, like just go on a trip. And so I took a trip out to Indiana. and I just fell in love with it. You know, here I am. How many years later? Like 15 years later. Like I've got kids here. Like I live here. So yeah, I never would have expected it. I was scared of the snow. But it's been a wild journey, man. Yeah.
After qualifying for the U.S. Olympic team in 2016 in the men's 100 breaststroke, Cody was looking to head to the Olympics to have fun and enjoy the moment. It was that mindset that helped him set the American record in the men's 100 breaststroke in the Olympic final, grabbing a bronze medal for Team USA. Thanks to his success in the 100 breaststroke, he found himself on Michael Phelps' last Olympic race ever, the 4x100 medley relay. And not only would he be swimming with the GOAT himself, but he'd have the difficult challenge of holding off Adam Peaty of Great Britain while passing over to Michael Phelps to enter for his last leg ever. Here's what Cody had to say about his Olympic experience and what it was like swimming with Phelps on his last race ever. Could you talk to me a little bit about what was said, you know, in the ready room, behind the blocks? What's Michael telling you? What are you feeling? Talk to me about what that race was like. That's a gold medal for you. Would love to hear the emotions and moment around that.
So most people don't know this, but I like literally passed out after the race. So like we win the gold medal and we're in like the prep area to like go on the medal podium. And I legitimately started to black out. Like I lost like my vision because I was so nervous before that relay that I barely ate my dinner. And the thing was, in Rio, we were racing at like 11:30 p.m. So like our meal schedule was like all wonky and screwy. Mm-hmm. And I just like wasn't really that hungry. And I thought that I had eaten enough. And I did my job. Like the job was, don't let Adam Peaty pass me by too much. Because like looking back at that time, that's when Peaty was at his absolute peak. He's 2 full seconds ahead of second place. Sure. In a 100-meter distance. He's 2 full seconds ahead. And so we knew like the most pressure, I'm not saying this because it was my role, but like I was under the most pressure because the only job of the breaststroke, or be it me or whoever it was don't let Adam cannibalize our lead by too much. Yeah. And I matched my bronze medal winning time. Like I was able to do the job and like I kept this in the race. And then Michael dove in and took over and Nathan crushed it. And, we won that gold medal. And it was like the celebration of a lifetime. It was amazing. It was awesome. But I was so nervous that I literally, it was the first time I'd ever like blacked out. Like I'm laying on the ground and like Michael's like giving me Gatorade, like Cody, come on, like we got to go get our medal. And I got a little like sugar in my system and then I was fine. And we went up but like they postponed the medal ceremony because I was on the ground. Yeah, to give you a little insight into like how I was feeling. That was like the most nervous I've ever been. But before the race, there wasn't a whole lot said. It's like we were just kind of looking at each other, like locking arms, like everybody knew what their role was. And there was a different energy knowing that it was Michael's last swim. And we just kind of felt like we kind of got this. Like we were lucky enough to have we had 4 medalists going up. I don't even think another team had 4 medalists in all 4 of those events. And so we felt really confident. But I felt the pressure because up until that race, we'd never lost that relay before. And it's like, dude, Michael's got to go out on top. Like I can't blow this. So it's wild looking back. Yeah, I don't really talk. It's been a long time since I've talked about it, but
yeah. After his success of the 2016 Olympic Games, Cody continued swimming with his next goal being the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. However, in his free time, Cody decided to bring back his passion of film and movie making and try his hand at making some YouTube videos to share with the swimming community. Flash forward 7 years later, and Cody has nearly 200,000 subscribers and over 40 million views on his videos. Here's what Cody had to say about his journey on YouTube as a creator.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I was in a hotel room in Rome in 2017. This is just after 2017 World Championships. And I had like just missed the medal podium in the 100 breaststroke by like a tenth of a second. And I was so upset. I was like, really, looking back now, I'm like, dude, I was like 4th or 5th in the world. Like, it's great. Like, that's cool. But at the time I was like real mad. And I had like a soul searching journey of like, I wanted to do something different, something creative. And so when I remember being in my Rome hotel room, I stumbled upon like the world of vlogging. That was kind of, vloggers were becoming more of a thing. Exactly. And I didn't know anything about it. And I had this idea of like doing like a swimming documentary. And I was like, that could be kind of cool. And then when I figured out the whole vlog thing, I was like, maybe I could just make one. Like, I was like, let me just make one. And it was really popular. Like, I don't remember how many views it got, but it was a lot more than I ever expected.
Sure.
And then I was like, okay, let me make another one. And then it just slowly kind of became a thing. And it was never a business idea. It was never a let's make money. But it provided me over the last, 7-8 years with a lot of sponsorships and a lot of opportunities that I never really expected. It's kind of helped, I guess, prolong my career, which has been really neat. I've got to meet like a lot of really cool people and train and do like wild things like sets with Katie Ledecky. And so it's been a weird journey, man. I'm just really grateful that people kind of enjoy the stuff that I make. Like I try to, if I'm not interested in something, I don't do it. Like I only do something if I want to do it. And if I'm passionate about it, and I love that. And who knows, the broadcasting thing, Rowdy's talked to me about it a few times. That'd be really cool. That'd be fun. But who knows? There's a lot of really good data analysts that convey great swimming messages. Sure. I love doing it mostly just for fun. So that's kind of the whole thing, I don't know.
As an Olympic breaststroker, Cody is a wealth of knowledge to be studied in the pool. But rather than you guys go study and do the work yourself, I wanted to have Cody share with you his 3 best tips for all breaststrokers looking to take their swimming to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. I love this stuff. We do a whole podcast on this. Number one, as a breaststroker, especially if you're younger, don't just focus on breaststroke. Like it's okay to specialize, but I'm of the belief that the more well-rounded you are, the better off you are. So like, even if you suck at backstroke or you hate butterfly and you're 12 and you just like breaststroke, you got to work on those things because there's value in doing things that you're not good at. There's value in forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to do. And ultimately, the better you get at those weak strokes, it can only help your other strokes. I believe that. Maybe not everyone agrees with that, but like I was forced to do every event at least once a season growing up for mostly through high school. And at the time I didn't want to do it. Like even the mile, Ron was like, look, you're never going to be a miler, but you're going to do it once. And I honestly look back at that. Like I gained a lot of value from that, not just the mental toughness, but the appreciation of what those other athletes do. Also just the mindset of, you might only ever be a tuner freestyle, but like knowing how to tactically take apart a mile, there's value in that. It grows your swimming IQ. It grows you as an athlete. Sure. So number one, try to be well-rounded, so that's number one. Number two, you don't have to be big to be fast. I was the smallest guy behind the blocks at NCAAs every year. I was most of the time the only guy under 6 feet tall. I'm 5'11", 175 pounds. I was the shortest guy on the U.S. Olympic swim team. You don't have to be tall to be fast. You just have to be strong and efficient. So obviously you got to work on your stroke technique and you got to be strong. So you got to get in the gym and do some work. And then the third thing is you can't take yourself too seriously. And I've been guilty of this in times when I've had rough seasons. It's because I didn't have a good balance of what I was doing at the pool and what I was doing outside of the pool. Too many times I was too consumed with how I was swimming. And that sometimes is a bad thing. Sometimes the motivation and the drive to be the very best can be a double-edged sword. Sure. So having good balance. So like I tell athletes, you got to have other hobbies and other interests, to keep yourself sane. And that's one of the biggest things that's helped keep me sane and honestly keep me involved in swimming is, doing a lot of other stuff. So that's important. So just to recap, okay, try to be well-rounded, work on everything. Don't take yourself too seriously. And I forgot what the second one was. What was it? Oh, you don't have to be tall to be fast. You need strong and powerful.
After hearing about Cody's success in the pool and even getting the chance to watch him this year at the 2024 Olympic Trials, I was eager to know, what's Cody Miller up to these days? So to wrap up my interview with him, I had to ask, what's next for Cody Miller?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
That's the beauty of life, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm in like a weird phase where I'm kind of trying to figure that out because I have some smaller goals that are fun that like are keeping me somewhat motivated to like get up and be active because it's like, okay, Olympic trials is over. There aren't really any big meets to like shoot for. Not that I'm like trying to make an Olympic team or do anything amazing, but like, so like, for example, I've never broken 20 seconds in a 50 free from a flat start. So I'm like, I want to do that. So I think like if I train for a few months, I might be able to do that in like November, December. I think that for me, at least, I have to have a goal or something that I'm looking forward to. And why I don't, that's when I start to lose my mind.
Totally.
And so even though just breaking 20 seconds isn't a big deal for the swim nerds like you and I, that'll be kind of fun. And then other things crazy too. Like I've been, one of my best friends is a CrossFit gym owner. So I've been doing some CrossFit and like, I like to learn like gymnastic stuff. And so I've been working on my handstands. Last month, I could not do a handstand. And a couple of weeks ago, I did a 50-foot handstand walk.
Hey, that's that progress.
So now I want to do a 100-foot handstand walk. And that is really dumb, but it's like, it's something that like gets me motivated to like, okay, I got to get out of bed and I got to go do something. Otherwise I'm not going to achieve that. And then outside of those silly things, I don't know, I'm just trying to be a good dad. You know, I'm trying to take my kids to the zoo more often, trying to just keep busy, you know, just enjoying myself.
And if a YouTube vlog comes out somewhere in between there, the swimming community would greatly appreciate it. No, thank you again. Thank you again, Cody, for taking the time today on the Athletes Only podcast. A huge pioneer in the sport of swimming and a huge pioneer in the space of YouTube swimming media. Thank you again, man.
Thanks. This was fun.
Thanks so much for watching episode 14 of the Athletes Only podcast, and a big thanks to Cody Miller for coming on and sharing his swimming journey. If you want to keep up with Cody Miller, make sure to check out his YouTube channel. I've linked it down below. And if you want to get access to my full interview with Cody Miller, make sure to become a member of my channel to get access to full extended Athletes Only interviews. As always, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest in the swimming world. And with that said, I'll see you all next time.